Hello, my name is Andrew Rockwall. I am the vision holder for Ravens over Rurikhall, an isometric RPG with JRPG style combat. Originally it was planned to have a turn-based combat system similar to games like Baldur's Gate 3 or Expeditions Viking, but due to difficulties implementing the grid system, we decided to focus on the JRPG style instead. You play as Baronwold of Stock, a recently escaped Saxon slave seeking revenge against the Viking slaver who captured you. During the game, he gets caught up between the local Saxons and a Viking warlord, being tasked with solving the crisis before either side will help him against the slavers. The core gameplay involves exploring around the village of Rurikhall, completing quests for NPCs to get equipment to help in combat, and learning the story of why the Vikings have attacked Rurikhall. The game has changed a decent amount since the start of Capstone. What originally was planned to be a very narrative-heavy experience has softened due to limits on narrative during the development process. The inventory is not as expansive as I'd wished, limiting it to a scaled-back and limited version due to lack of IPM, preventing it from being developed when it needed to be. Otherwise, it has remained generally faithful to the original vision. Some cool features that are in the game is a working quest system that has different dialogue depending on the player's choices. When it comes to processes and ideas that worked well in development, my narrative-first mindset did not serve development well, as narrative had to be repeatedly tuned down due to instructor feedback and needing to keep the game under 10 minutes, leaving it my biggest regret during development. The question dialogue systems did work incredibly well, and managed to carry a lot of the gameplay outside combat. My blueprint skills certainly developed exponentially during the development, whilst Jira organization helped to keep a good list of tasks to keep on track of. Next up is my teammate
I am
Alex.
Alexander Heine, and I'll just start it off. The ideas and processes that worked well during development were having meetings and effective communication throughout development whenever something new was brought up or to be implemented. There was no process that affected development in a negative way due to our ability to communicate effectively. The skills that I learned that I found most useful were animation, UI creation, turn-based scripting, and finally building combat systems with data variables such as attack power and speed to determine turn order. The game is a top-down RPG that includes a combat game mode that didn't really differ much from the main idea of the original game plan. The only part that changed was the combat game mode to change from a tile-based combat mode with movement to a JRPG style of game. The main systems within the game are quest following, JRPG combat, and sneaking mechanics that coincide with the quest gameplay. The current game only differs in its combat style from a turn based style combat idea to making a turn based JRPG game where the characters are lined up across from each other and fight in that way. Some cool features in this mode are the speed value that dictates the turn order for all the players in the different and the different commands and cooldowns the various commands have within the game. So with that being said, I will send it over to Daniel Mullaney, who will talk about his portion of the project.
Hi, welcome. I'm Daniel Mullaney. I covered most of the landscape and level design as well as stealth for our project. First off, I want to discuss some of our processes and techniques during the development of our game. As Alex explained earlier, communication has been our biggest strength. Though we only have 3 people, we manage more easily with resource allocation and disputes over perforce. Secondly, everything we do is discussed and agreed upon, up to the smallest of items. This team project, and we are really symbiotic about it. One of our major hurdles has been time management. Though conflicting schedules and not always having someone working at all available times, things slow down a bit. Though lacking knowledge, we all gained experience while working around animation assets and blueprints. Lastly, some trouble overusing the Cinti skeleton over the Unreal 5 mannequin and default animations. All in all, has been a great learning experience. Some useful skills we have learned: unbreaking what is broken, mainly with Perforce not properly checking in items and finding workarounds with when someone is not available to maximize time. Otherwise, we have all dipped our fair share in animation assets and how to properly set up and utilize them. Background showcasing with personal installments include crouching and movement, hiding in the bushes, NPC chasing with scaling detection meter, landscape and grass features. Thank you from all of us at Team Lobster.